Hi, this is Dr. Mark. I want to talk about some basic things necessary for health. These are not original with me, but these come from my naturopathic mentor and medical professor, Dr. Charles McWilliams, MD. They're what he called the 11 fundamentals, and they are just an overview: ascorbic acid, vitamin C, minerals, gut flora or probiotics, water, hydration, oils, the essential fatty acids, omega-3 primarily, pH, having the right pH balance, getting your vitamins in, having the hormones, both intake and balance, and getting the cell voltage right. And then, of course, there is the spiritual aspect that is often forgotten. So the first of these would be the ascorbic acid or the vitamin C. This is just a quick overview. You're deficient until proven otherwise. Vitamin C, other vitamins, vitamin D. You need it for immunity. You need it for detoxification. You need vitamin C for thyroid support and adrenal support. You need it for connective tissue repair along with things like silica. And you need it for digestive health, which your GI tract is 80% of your immune system. You need it to not be constipated. You need it for regularity. You need it for brain support. And vitamin C is wonderful for prep and post-surgery for recovery. And then there's minerals, our second fundamental. You're deficient until proven otherwise. Magnesium, silica, iodine, etc. Deficient until proven otherwise. Iodine and iodide salts. Potassium iodine is the forgotten medicine. Also assumed deficient of calcium salts, vanadium, chromium, etc. Gut dysbiosis, our third point, gut imbalance. We're talking about the gut flora or the need for probiotics. Positive urine dipstick for leukocytes. These immune cells usually tell us if there's gut derangement. Some of the basics we use are either Dr. David Williams Probiotic Advantage, like the Dr. David Williams Probiotic Advantage Extra Strength, or our very favorite, Dr. Mercola's Complete Probiotics in the capsules. Wonderful count and quality there. And then even the Garden of Life brand of raw probiotics kids, which you buy refrigerated. Next point, dehydration, water. How much water do you drink? There's an old Japanese water cure, which basically talks about drinking so much water in the morning before anything with flavor hits the palate, getting that skin and the cells cleansed out and getting everything hydrated and detoxed. Your urine color should, what is that? That should be straw colored or hay colored, kind of a light yellow. Dehydration aggravates almost all other issues. High blood pressure can be caused by asthma, immune issues. All right, you've got to flush out the cells, and you've got to have the water to balance your tissue fluid. I like to use lots of green tea and herbal teas because that counts as your water. Unlike coffee and sodas, which your body's got to do so much work to balance you back, to balance back your pH, to balance out from all of the chemicals and colors, and to deal with the sugar and the inflammation and all that's caused by that. With teas, you can count that as your water intake and also be getting some wonderful energetic and chemical properties from the herbs. All right, to balance your tissue fluid. There should be a balance between the potassium and the sodium, the intra and the extracellular fluids. You need the hydration to move your GI tract, which again I mentioned makes up 80% of your immune system. You need hydration to maintain the brain, to have more energy. All right, and on to our next point, oil poisoning. People don't realize that the toxic omega-6 intake and trans fats are poisoning them. All right, vegetable oil is evil. Okay, we need to instead get in things like coconut, flax, and olive, providing you don't have a particular reactivity, like a light allergy to any of those things. Those are the general types of oils you need to be getting. Healthy saturated fat, like from coconut oil, good raw coconut oil, or getting in your omega-3s. And typically I advocate just intake of omega-3s only, since we already get so much omega-6s in our diet. But stay away from the basic vegetable oil as a cooking oil. Go with the coconut as your number one choice, and if you don't like the sweet taste of that, then get it. Go ahead and get it. It doesn't have to be marked organic, but get it. Coconut oil that is a processed, refined rather. It can be refined and still have the value and the nutrients there, and you still can't overheat it. Can't get it too hot. Unlike olive oil, if it smokes, it's gone rancid. And you'll be able to get rid of that sweet taste if you like it for your salty foods, or you'd like your dish, your main dish, not to taste like a dessert or not to taste coconutty. Do the refined coconut there. The next point, acidosis, or pH, getting the pH balance. We are acid-producing organisms. All right, we've got today a standard American diet, SAD, S-A-D diet, or bad American diet. We've got an abundance of acidic foods today. Everything's fast, fried, or fizzy, and these are all just producing an overkill of your pH being acidic. Urine pH of 6.0 or lower is our acidosis. So what do I do about that? Drink alkaline water. We use an Athena. There's other great ones out there. It doesn't have to be that one, and it produces a more alkaline water. We'll make it more acidic if we want to brush our teeth with it, or if we want to clean with it. We can make it very acidic and make a mop water with no chemicals, or you can do things with essential oils like thieves and whatnot in your water. So drinking alkaline water, using an alkaline supplement like Dr. Charles McWilliams sells an Alka-Genesis. It's called Alka-Genesis. It's a liquid silica product. You'll also get your silica in there because everyone's silica deficient until proven otherwise. You can add that to your water, about 14 drops to a regular glass of water, 7 drops to a little glass, and help alkalinize and also be meeting that silica deficiency, which will make your skin healthier, and certainly your nails grow better, faster, stronger, and it'll increase your hair quality as well from getting that silica from the liquid silica product. And we call that Alka-Gen. For emergencies, you could use an Alka-Seltzer if there's no swelling or high blood pressure. If you can find it in the stores, there was an Alka-Seltzer Gold, or a sodium, so that's a sodium-free Alka-Seltzer product. It uses potassium instead. You can also buy a potassium chloride and use that in your home for your salting instead of regular rock poison, as I call it, the table salt, which is chemical poisoning. It's part of the American way of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes on the installment plan. Promotes the high blood pressure. But if you had to, you could use a regular Alka-Seltzer in the case of an emergency of clinical acidosis. Now, vitamin. Next big point, vitamin-dependent diseases. Vitamin C, scurvy without vitamin C. Cancer without C, D, which is really a hormone, and others. Colds and flus, you need the vitamin C there. Heart disease, you need vitamin Bs. Diabetes, obesity, you need B, C, and others, and so forth and so on. Vitamins are the foundation. First vitamins, then the herbs. The herbs work well, very well. They work best if you've already got your vitamin deficiencies taken care of and met. All right. Vitamins can be used like drugs, like Dr. Charles likes to say. For example, you could take up to 50,000, that's 50,000 IUs, international units, per day for a flu. For 3 days you could do this and no more, but that could help you really knock out the flu and get over that more quickly. And then there are the herbs you could use after the vitamin deficiencies are met. I call these God's drugs, but they're safe without the dangerous side effects. They do need to be used with knowledge. There's herbs such as elderberry, bone set. If anyone's ever heard of bone break fever, just a terrible fever, bone set is an Indian name for herb there that is wonderful for fevers. Peppermint also. Peppermint, sage, Indian gooseberry, licorice, catnip, lemon juice are wonderful things. And as the Bible says, and their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing or medicine. Vitamin D deficiency, for example. This is really a hormone deficiency. You need vitamin D. You'll make it in your skin and liver, in your skin, D3 when you get in the sun enough. But vitamin D, you need it for hormone balance. Your thyroid needs it. It's an anti-inflammatory. Vitamin D is very anti-inflammatory. Vitamin D is cancer fighting. Vitamin D can be used to prevent and fight migraines. You can use it in combination with the herb wood betony or with feverfew. I'd say 5,000 to 6,000 IUs of vitamin D with either of those herbs. You can make your own little migraine pack pills there for that. And then the next point, humate deficiencies. What are humates? They're from ancient decaying plant matter. And they basically mine this like in New Mexico. There's a humate mine in western USA for that. We used to get it on our vegetables when we were in a less cleanliness environment, less germophobic environment. You get a certain amount. Now we overwash our vegetables as well. Humates, you can get humic acid and fulvic acid in good products like from Miravita and from Zervita, these companies, and we sell both of those. You can find those on the resource page of our website at texaswellnessclinic.com. Humates are the answer to oil poisoning. Remember that toxic oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, too many omega-6s problem. All right, because they'll actually shred the shrink-wrapped off of the cells that is put there basically for the most part by the vegetable oils. So humates will kind of increase the electrical activity of the cell membranes, that is the skin on your cells, and help them function better. And so the humates are the key to cell detox. They're the key to mineral deficiencies. They actually open the door. They're literally a key, and key to zeta potential. Zeta potential is an electrical potential, as I mentioned. You need it for the very next major point, or fundamental voltage loss. You need the electrolytes as cell transports, right? So we can have cell-to-cell better communication, and the cells can get the bad stuff out and the good stuff in more easily. A healthy cell needs a certain amount of millivoltage. Fulvic acid opens up the cell membrane. This fulvic and humic acid, remember, are the two types of acids that are within the humate category. Opens up the cell membrane, improves cell communication, assists normal detox, and it boosts nutrient absorption and increases voltage. In order to increase voltage, you've got to have hydration as well. Pure water and enough of it, all right? How do you increase voltage? You've also got to have good, or as I call them, God's fats. God's fats like coconut, avocado, walnuts, almonds, flax, etc. Green-fed, pasture-fed, grass-fed, or better said, green-fed meat and butter. And we can do things like that through wonderful places like Beyond Organic, and we've got a link for that on our resources page. Increasing your cell voltage, one simple exercise that's free, get barefoot on the grass, all right? It's called earthing. Get barefoot on the grass for 30 minutes or as long. I know we don't all have 30 minutes to stand on the grass barefoot. Hey, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Go in for a walk barefoot on the grass. Just stay away from the ants and you're good, right? There's a wonderful voltage book recommendation, Electric and Electromagnetic Healing. Electric and Electromagnetic Healing by Professor Charles McWilliams, MD. And then lastly, we've got to pay attention to the fact of our spiritual existence. We live spiritual existences. Simple as that. We live spiritual existences in physical bodies. All right? Spiritual influences the physical. We are all the P, the M, and the S. The physical, the mental, and the spiritual. The spiritual influences the physical as well as the mental. Okay? The Bible teaches a holistic philosophy. 1 Thessalonians, I believe it is, 5, verse 23. Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you entirely, and may your spirit and soul and body be preserved complete, without blame at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. All right, we've got to remember to treat the whole person. Treat the person, not the disease. And what churches have forgotten, sure, they're capitalizing. They talk about spiritual, and that's very important. Feed us the meat from the Word. Make sure the fellowship and the accountability are there. But then most churches do that to the neglect of how they treat the body, and they'll feed people, their members, just absolute crap. And they'll put this before them, and they're just killing themselves physically, though. They've forgotten that there is the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. We've got to take care of the physical, that P, all right? Spiritual existence, there is a purpose in suffering. And so much of the time I hear this from churches and preachers that, well, I don't want to, I don't want to waste my cancer, or, it is well with my soul, and I understand that. But yes, there is a purpose in suffering. Yes, it's not always God's will for people to survive certain chronic ailments, illnesses. But God's design in our spiritual existence, God's design is for 100% function. He made us to function a certain way. He did make us to have an optimal potential, optimal existence. God's given us all that we need. We've got to remember that about the spiritual, the part of Christ's ministry that was healing. Christ had a huge part of his ministry that was physically healing, consisted of physically healing people on earth. And we've got to remember the truth that God enjoys healthy children. Thank you for listening to these 11 fundamentals. We've got resources from Simple Wellness on our website at texaswellnessclinic.com/resources. Thank you very much.